Morning.
Morning.
It is cold out there, lads. It's Wednesday, January 30th. High today of 3. Very heavy hailstones falling in many parts of the county this morning. Snow in some places as well. And we've already had updates, even though we haven't gone on air yet, about places that are quite bad, including a fallen tree. So all that coming up in the show this morning. And if by any chance you're going to be driving on any of Kerry's roads in particular this morning and you want to tell us about them, you know what to do. You can comment here or you can WhatsApp or text us 083 300 3300. But yeah, very cold start this morning, so you're definitely going to need the kettle, I'd say, for the windscreen, because it is frozen out there this morning.
Yeah, it sure is. So yeah, as Andrew said, a few bits and pieces to let you know about out and about on the roads. So tune into us. We're live from 7 to give you full details on all of that. Now, some of the big stories in today's paper, starting with the Irish Examiner this morning, and the nurses' strike actually, which is happening today, is obviously on the front pages of all our papers today. I can't give what I'd like to give to people, and they're the words of a clinical nurse manager, Aisling Fahy, who's pictured outside a hospital. She's going on strike, one of 35,000 members of the INMO who will strike. Also on the front page of the Irish Examiner today, May to seek Brexit backstop changes. The British PM on a fresh collision course with the EU now, says the Irish Examiner. The Children's Hospital has to go ahead, says Simon Harris, even though it's now costing, I think, 3 times as much as they originally thought it would cost. But that's on the front page of the Irish Examiner as well. And elderly woman pressured into buying 12 chainsaws. Do you see this story, Andrew?
No.
A dreadful story. So it's this woman. Okay, so Gardaí and Bantry are investigating this. An incident which saw an old woman lured into buying 12 chainsaws, 11 generators, 7 power washers, and other tools to suspects who called her front door and pressured her into buying this equipment. It's bonkers.
That is a mad story.
You know the way they call as well, and they say to particularly, well, vulnerable people, particularly elderly people, maybe on their own, they say, oh, that roof, your roof in your house needs to be replaced. You know,
yeah,
no,
sure,
no
you
one
wouldn't
tell
know,
you.
yeah. You
So it's that kind of a story. So that's on the front page of the Irish Examiner today. Awful.
The Independent then this morning says the cost of Brexit, 55,000 jobs amid rising food and clothing prices. No deal crash out would have severe impact on Ireland is the main story there. And serious snowfall on the way as mercury to plummet to -7 in places. Now I just checked it, and I think we're going to hit -2 in parts of Kerry tonight. Certainly nothing as severe as -7, but the status yellow weather warning is still in place and will remain there until around 2 o'clock Saturday. But -7 apparently they're saying now we may get in parts this week.
We need to put it in perspective as to what's going on in the US at the moment with their cold weather.
Yeah.
My God.
And they're used to it.
They're used to it, but at the same time, like, I see my cousins in the Chicago area, sharing posts about schools being closed and stuff. I mean, that never happens in the States. They're just ready for this stuff.
That's true, yeah.
But it's incredibly cold in parts of the States at the moment. So I think -7 euro, we can suck that up, I'd say.
I'm going to take a gamble as well right now, and I'm going to say that anybody watching this who's got people going to school this morning, I'm going to say the schools are 100% open. They're not closed, lads. So, you know, just bear that in mind.
Front page of the Times Ireland edition today, Varadkar to fight May's bid to reopen Brexit deal is the headline in the Times today. The Irish government has categorically rejected British plans to reopen the Brexit withdrawal agreement talks with the EU. That's on the front page of the Times Ireland edition, as is a beautiful photograph taken in Dublin yesterday of the snow-covered fields and trees and all the rest. It's a picture. It's like something out of a postcard. Yeah. It's beautiful. So I drove to Cork yesterday, and out around Glenflesk I was in a rush, so I didn't have time to stop and take photos. But honestly, it was like something off a Christmas card. It was so beautiful, so beautiful. And like on the way to Cork, so that was at around 12 yesterday, 11, 12, something like that. That was gorgeous, and I was taking it in. I was enjoying it. And on the way home, driving conditions were awful. So if they're anything like that today, please do take care of yourselves. And of course, people belting away as if it's grand. I mean, it was really slippy in places.
Yeah, but sure, you know yourself, a couple of people like Michael Schumacher out on the roads because they're well able for it.
Yeah.
The Mirror this morning says widow in love rival trial started seedy affair with murder accused due to lack of sex, court hears. That's on the front page of the Mirror there this morning. And 2 Gardaí been arrested after secret probe uncovers evidence of alleged corruption in Limerick. A detective and a uniformed Garda are being investigated, according to the Mirror there as well this morning. And shout out to Kelleher's Garage in Tralee, Mace at Kelleher's. When you mentioned the nursing strike there, they put up last night on Facebook that they're going to feed the nurses teas and coffees and sandwiches today.
Oh, okay. I saw a few places do that. I think Benner's in Tralee as well are doing that. They're giving out free teas and coffees as well.
Fair play to them, and good luck to the nurses today. Is it 8 o'clock? I think they kick off their 24-hour strike. I think that's when they start this morning.
Sure, we've got some nurses watching us here this morning. You can Give us a shout there on the comments. Some of the top trends for this morning: Liverpool, Man City lost last night again, so Pool fans are celebrating winning the league this morning. Calm down, I'd say, lads, bit to go yet, but Liverpool are trending because of that Man City loss last night. That's one of the top trends. And Newcastle also, they won last night. Lots of praise for Rafa Benitez after that win. They beat City 2-1. It finished up.
Yeah, I saw some Liverpool fans last night going absolutely ape, like, and being ridiculous online. So if you're one of those people last night who were like, "Come on, Liverpool, you never," sad.
Cool. Well done, lads.
Man United pulled it out of the fire last night. They were 2-0 down heading into injury time against Burnley and managed a 2-2 draw. Pogba penalty, and then Lindelof scored in the 92nd or 93rd minute, I think. So just about. So not 9 wins in a row for Solskjaer, but still he hasn't lost a game yet. So
that's great, yeah.
I'll take that. And the other big trend this morning is the Tonight Show on Virgin Media TV last night. So they discussed loads of things between the nursing strike, Brexit, but one of the other things that they discussed last night was about fake news and the sharing of graphic images. Now this was after the story from Dublin last week with the M50 crash, where the Gardaí had to ask people, remember, to stop taking photographs and sharing them online of the accident, because the woman who died in her 30s hadn't yet actually all of her relatives and next of kin hadn't been informed yet, and yet people were sharing this shot of her car and of her on social media and on WhatsApp and everything else. So the guards had to say, lads, please stop. So they had a big discussion about that last night, and they got plenty of reaction online to it as well. And you can probably go back and see those tweets this morning. But yeah, that was the Tonight Show on Virgin Media last night.
So mind yourselves out and about on the roads today, guys, and if there's anything at all happening that we should know about. I was on a road watch this morning just to get our updates for us, and are reminding people about the stopping distances. So if a road is icy, quick question for you, because I know the answer because we talk about it here on the show, but otherwise I wouldn't. How much longer do you think it takes for your car to stop on an icy road? Have a think about that for a few seconds, right? How much longer?
I wouldn't. I'm embarrassed and ashamed
so
to say I don't know.
So if you hit the brakes on a normal road, we'll say, for example, now I'm only using this as an example. It's going to take you 30 metres to stop your car, we'll say, okay?
Right.
Okay, if the road is icy today and under normal driving conditions would take you that long to stop, it's going to take you 10 times longer to stop on an icy road.
Christ.
10 times longer. I always think, our education system misses a trick when we talk about how there's no kind of practical application for a lot of what we learn in school, and how that kind of thing isn't taught in physics or isn't taught in science class, about how long it takes a car to stop, what happens in a car when the car is travelling at 60 kilometres an hour, 80 or 100 kilometres an hour, and it crashes into a tree. Like the actual what's happening, how people, because people haven't a clue. So your car will take 10 times longer to stop today. I think that's worth bearing in mind if you are driving in icy road conditions, as I was last night, and a lot of people overtaking me and didn't seem to give a crap.
Not at all.
And they certainly didn't know it was going to take them 10 times longer to stop. So do watch out for that today, and if there's icy road conditions, let us know about it and we'll give it a mention on the show.
Some of the people who get in touch this morning, I just see here a message here from Mike, says 3 degrees in Enniscall. Hate this weather, he says. More than Mike.
Mike, that's not even that cold.
That's bammy, Mike.
Lads, we're pure babies. I'm sorry now, but 3 degrees is not that cold.
Morning, Mike.
Mike? For God's sake.
Morning to Chris as well, and Mike was on. Mike O'Sullivan was on. Margaret Murta, morning, Margaret. Shout out to Breda, who says big support for the nurses today. Nice one, Breda. Good morning to you as well. And Marie says watching as well, as is Paula. So good morning to you all, lads. If you want to keep sharing comments, please do on the page here. And as always, as we said, you can text or WhatsApp us as well. On the show this morning, we have another staycation to be won. A really nice prize this morning, so that's coming up. So if you fancy an old weekend away for yourself, that's on the way. And the Jive is on this weekend in the Gleneagles.
I want to jive!
So I want to jive. You're
That's
going to
how
need
you
that
win
phrase.
it.
Yeah. So details on that coming up as well this morning. And I was just saying to Elaine yesterday, really cool prize that somebody who, you don't have to be any good at jiving, by the way, but there is a competition on Saturday night where somebody could win themselves €1,000 in cash.
They do have to be
just
good
for
at jiving.
doing the jiving. So details on that coming up in the show as well this morning. Right.
Okay, that's it from us. We're live here in Radio Kerry in about 2 minutes time. As we said, we've got a good few bits of traffic and travel updates to let you know about. Tune in for that. We've got some great music. We're kicking things off with Dermot Kennedy in just a few moments, and we'll talk to you soon. Have a great Wednesday.
Go ahead.
Bye.